Hey everybody, it's Kenny Cummins here, chilling with Kenny C, and this is an interview I've been wanting to do for a very long time. My guest is a 16-year veteran in wrestling. I've been a fan of this lady since she was Nemesis, very, very early in her career. And then I started watching her in Kentucky and in Ohio and Indiana. She's faced some big names in wrestling. She been around. She's won championships. She's been on TV. She's just made a name for herself. So yeah, she was Nemesis once upon a time, but nowadays you can call her Big Mama. How's it going?
Doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
So I've been a fan of yours, like I said, since Nemesis days. But then I started watching you in person when you became Big Mama. I remember Georgetown, Kentucky, UWF, WCCW, prime time wrestling. And then of course I came to your neck of the woods in Ohio for the first ever all woman show for NWF. And then I saw you at NWA in Kentucky earlier this year. I know you was more behind the scenes, but I did see you there. And then of course I saw you in Cynthiana for Generation X Pro Wrestling, their first ever all woman show. You teamed up with one of my new friends, Alexis Littlefoot, which was a very wild brawl. Um,
Oh, it
so
was crazy. It was insane.
yeah, so with everything that has happened for you this year, and you know, 16 years in, how are you feeling about year 16 with everything you've been able to do?
I will definitely say that I feel like the last year to the last 2 years, I've done almost 5 times more than I think my entire career.
Hmm.
I just wish I was a little younger probably at this point to take advantage of it a little bit better. But it's been a damn good year. I've gotten to I've not really pushed it out there a whole lot, but I've gotten to do extra work for the WWE. So doing some stuff of that nature.
Hmm.
And then you actually brought it up earlier with the NWA. So I've been, working my jam, taking the rides, and trying to make some connections on each of those little trips. So it's been a really busy year, but it has been a really, really good year. And I have to say, I think like the highlight of my year, and it's gonna be wrestling, but non-wrestling related. So I am Big Mama. So I am a mama of a little 2.5-year-old little dude. And I was putting together music for an event and my entrance music played because mama wrestle. That's I was so you know what? When your kid knows your entrance music, that's a really, really damn good night.
Who knows? They might use it for future things, future parties, get-togethers. They might use it at their own entrance. We might have a next
I would be
generation.
a-okay with that.
So man, it's so good to finally interview you because once I did interview your husband, the man Roger Ruffin, a little over a decade ago, and I don't know why it took me so long to get you because I see you more than I see him,
Oh, I would
and
definitely agree with that. Absolutely.
so my bad. And I did ask a few occasions, but you're a busy mama, no pun intended. So
It's a crazy life. Wouldn't
yeah.
trade it for the world though.
So I'm glad that this is finally happening. So that's a nice early holiday gift. Just put it that way. So you got a busy evening and the aforementioned Kentucky NWF got a show in Ludlow, Kentucky, and there is going to be all-woman battle royal with yourself, Wally Matthews, Savannah Street, Breezy, Celia Dean, Haley Shadows, excuse me, Kayla Cassidy. More names are being added to the battle royal. Oh, by the way, it is for the NWF Women's Revolution Championship. So that is a huge disadvantage for the current champion, Ella. But being the champion means you have to take on challenges beyond your control. And so you being the veteran of this battle royal, you know the ins and outs. You got the more experience. You even train some of these girls that's gonna be in this battle royal with you. What's your mindset? How you feeling going into this battle royal and with a chance of becoming a champion before year's end?
I don't I know that it's not a secret or a quiet thing. Like, everybody knows that Big Mama wants the title. I don't think there's any argument in that. And I have done nothing short of just destroying and going through our division. Now, I've seen what some of these women can do, but if you put four of them together, you have my years of experience. And at the end of the day, Big Mama knows what she wants, and she's going to go through whoever she has to get what she wants. I've never held the NWF Women's Revolution title or the NWF Women's Championship, even before prior to that division starting. I am the reason that division started. I think the foregone conclusion is that Big Mama's coming out of that ring by herself.
Pretty much. I mean, NWF is celebrating their 27th year anniversary, and I've been to two NWF shows in my life. The first one I went to was, I don't even remember the name of the city, but I do remember Cindy was the women's champion once upon a time. And
True
that was one of
story.
my and that was one of my first video interviews I did, and she was defending the title that night. Um, Obviously, I've been friends with Cindy, Veronica Valentine, Civil Star. They've had their memories there as well. Um, so big night for you and the ladies to getting opportunity there. So go check it out, Ludlow, Kentucky. Tomorrow night, the doors open at 7, bell time is at 8. You can go to nwfwrestling.com for all the details and get your tickets there. And support independent wrestling. NWF, that's one of the longest running promotions in the tri-state area. I might think it might be the longest out of any promotion. I mean, 27 years for
I mean, that
anything.
I can think of. Yeah, most of the ones that I run into are maybe about 10 to 12 years, maybe 15.
Yeah.
I don't hear of many that are even close.
No, no. I mean that I might think there's probably one Kentucky promotion that's been around for a long time. But as far as active shows, just being on maybe a few shows a month per se, NWF is very definitely the most active show in the tri-state area.
Week
So
in and week out, snowstorm
so
or rainstorm.
so I'm just we're in the last month of the year, and I guess it's some people like to wait until New Year's resolutions. I'm gonna make one here, not just to you, not just to the incredible talented woman division, but to the NWF roster, because I know some of the guys and gals. I Number one, I want to interview more NWF wrestlers 2023. Um, so that's one. And number two, considering I do multiple shows in Kentucky, I want to start going to some shows for NWF. Kentucky, Ohio, maybe an hour and a half drive, 2 hours drive, give and take. I know some wrestlers have to drive a lot farther. But yeah, I want to go to some NWF shows in 2023. Uh, so with that being said, I want to go back to the all woman show from this past summer. That was like my first time going to a wrestling show in Ohio ever.
Oh, okay. I did
And
not know that.
I lived in Ohio back in the early 90s, early 2000s, Cincinnati and Columbus. Cincinnati, about seven-ish, and that holds near dear to my heart because I lived there. My family lived there. We had a lot of good memories, and I've been back to Cincinnati a few times for two wrestling shows. The other is AEW, and of course NWF. So, given the turnout that the women's show had with PGWA, you was there. You put on a powerhouse battle with Freya the Slayer from OVW. Um, Looking back at that, and woman of the past and present was in attendance. How you? This is a two-part question, actually. How do you feel about that show, and do you think that that will become more of a yearly thing for NWF, whether with or without PGWA in the future?
So, so that was my first ever event that I actually booked, promoted, found the building. Like I was the person in charge of that show
Mhm.
behind the scenes, with getting all the talent, you name it. It was my baby. Um, First of all, it was a sellout almost before the doors even opened.
Yeah.
And there was literally people that drove from Wisconsin to come in for this event. It's always been on my my bucket list to promote and do my own show. And I've learned from one of the best with Roger Ruffin. Like he's been not only is he an amazing husband, but he's also a very, very good trainer. And that the way that that day went with Revolution Rising could have been like 20 times worse, but because of the experience he's given me as far as training and learning, it was stressful, but it probably went way smoother than I deserved for it to go. But it was I had that moment. You know, you always remember the crowd reaction when you come out, and like that's one of like the best things as a professional wrestler. Um, but I had a moment where I had gone out, I went through the curtain, and I was standing in the ring, giving everybody crap because you know that's what I'm good at. And I just the crowd, like the way that that building is set up, and the acoustics, and like how close it was and how full it was,
Yeah.
just kind of like hit me, and it was a really cool moment. And then like one match, they were all really, really good matches through the whole night. But Nikki Victory versus Kylie Ray was like I I'm pretty sure like three or four of us were crying in the back, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
It was just to see someone that yes, Nikki Victory and I have issues. We don't agree on sides. But that is the person that and I've told her this. She's actually the reason why I stayed in wrestling because she showed up to training. And even from the first training, I kind of knew there was something there. Um, to where I chose to not leave. So to see that girl that I saw come into training to have that match with Kylie Ray was something freaking special. Every single one of those women have worked their butt off, and actually, so normally when you hear about an all women's card, like you're bringing in people from all over the country.
Yeah.
I'm so incredibly proud to say that there was literally three outside talent brought in on that show. The rest of them were all homegrown Northern Wrestling Federation women's talent.
Yeah.
Um, Like I'm so incredibly proud of our division, even though I'm going to beat all of them for the title on Saturday. I'm still so proud of that group and how much they've accomplished and how many roads that they have blazed. Like it's crazy to see that just in the last like 4 to 5 years of our company, seeing that change.
Yeah, that division is really flourishing.
It is
Um,
stacked right
and
now.
I've heard of Nikki. Um, I've heard of Nikki from years back. She's making a name for herself. She's in AEW making some
Yes.
appearances. Nevaeh, she's an original. Kylie Ray, just known all over the country. I know she was part of the early years of AEW. Of course, she's been in Impact as well. Um, just so much good talent. And me being a Kentucky guy, I had seen what Ohio wrestling is doing out there. It's great times um, for Ohio wrestling fans, and I'm trying to reel myself back in because silly me was stuck in the WWE bubble early in my life, but then I started watching indie wrestling a lot more and going to these shows. Now I'm getting out of Kentucky, going to these shows, and I'm like, getting my money's worth. That show, that night, all those women, it was worth the hour and a half drive from Lexington getting to Cincinnati. I'ma love Cincinnati no matter what. So whatever's popping in Cincinnati, wrestling, music, entertainment, I'm gonna be there. Especially for someone like you. I didn't even know that you was the booker, the promoter. So first off, props to you, just getting the show out, making it happen. So and I hope it does become a yearly thing. Um,
Uh,
and
if
yeah,
you would like an exclusive,
mhm,
we have officially set the date for Revolution Rising 2,
mhm.
and it will be May 27th of 2023.
May 27. Gotcha.
Yep.
Let me pencil that in. So that is a tentative date. Let's just say that tentative date. Um, for Revolution Rising 2 NWF. They wanted it back. So as the kids like to say. So that's encouraging to hear. So you also got some other shows. With as we approach the holiday season, I know tomorrow NWF Low Kentucky. I think you also got another show on the following weekend in Harrison, Ohio.
I do.
So talk about some of the other shows you got coming up in this final month of the year.
So wrapping up the year, we are so next weekend we are in oh Jesus, I just forgot because it's been a long week. Whew. So we're in Ludlow tomorrow. So that's when I'm gonna become the champ. We already have
Yeah.
established this. So that happens tomorrow. Um, I have to say, I again, just as I just said, our women's division is just it is stacked. There are so many women that are just so good. But at the end of the day, the veteran's gonna win. So we're gonna move past Ludlow. And the following weekend, I'm doing a double header. So I haven't publicly put that out there a whole lot. Um, but in the morning, I believe it's a 1 p.m. show. Um, I will be at PWA in Harrison. But I won't be that far from home. And there is a lovely little girl called Savannah Sweet.
Uh-oh.
And we've been on the same team,
Yeah.
but we've also been across the ring from each other in other locations. And I just feel like it's just another thing to establish that you're going to have to go through me to be the top of any division. It doesn't matter where I'm at. So I'm intrigued by this. And then I also have booked my next booking that is on the books outside of Northern Wrestling Federation, um, is a booking in Chillicothe, Ohio in March, which I believe has been announced by Big Time Pro Wrestling Classics. But I couldn't tell you who I'm going to wrestle on that event. I know the last event I wrestled Nikki Victory on that event with a special guest referee that was terribly biased.
Mm.
You can check that one out on my TV for the record. um, but I'm not sure who I'm gonna get to beat in March. So we'll just have to see. But that is International Big Time Wrestling Classics, and they bring in and have reunion shows in Chillicothe, Ohio, every several months. And if you want to meet the who's who in professional wrestling, that's one of the best places to do it. It's been such a cool experience to be able to be in the same locker rooms with like Jake the Snake Roberts, and like it's just been crazy. It's been a really, really good year. As you said earlier, I've gone to some really cool events and meet a lot of people that I looked up to in pro wrestling. So it's been a good year.
Yeah, so check out the shows. You can follow Big Mama on Facebook and on Twitter and Instagram. She'll keep you posted. I think it's Big Bad Mama 06
Yep, a
on
we made it nice and easy.
yeah, so Big Bad Mama 06 on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow her on both Twitter and Instagram, and she'll keep you posted. But for the foreseeable future, at least, she will be at Ludlow, Kentucky for Northern Wrestling Federation tomorrow. And she'll be at Harrison, Ohio for WPA as a charity show for good
Yeah.
cause. So some of the NWF women like yourself will be competing. And I'm just going to put it out there for next Saturday in particular. There's a chance you might see yours truly in attendance. Um, as long as I got the day off of work on Saturday, with that being an early show on Saturday, I might come on through and check out WPA. So, um, and lastly, we talked about the women's division. So much talent, so much flourishing, so much development and evolving and expanding per se. Miss Wally Matthews, you've had battles with her and you formed a team with her. So talk about Miss Matthews as far as I guess you could say what's the key word? Frenemy for
Fren-
say for
I would definitely say that's frenemies. I mean, for as much as that pesky upstart rookie stuff can bother me, she's got a fire in her belly. She wants to prove everybody wrong. And I mean, let's be honest, you look at Thunder and Lightning, and so she's gonna knock them down, and then I'm gonna keep them down. Sometimes you just kind of have to embrace your enemy to be able to be the most effective. And in this case, I think it's worked. I mean, because let's be honest, you see the two of us in a ring, and there's no denying it's a force of nature.
yeah.
I mean, we are absolutely the equal and opposite of each other, but I mean, it's clicked really well. This is what I will say. I love to beat her up or have her help me beat someone else up.
That's fair. I feel with teams, you gotta bump heads with each other. You know, not always being on the same page. At times you got to go at each other. But once that bell rings, especially in a tag team match, you put that all to the side and you try to go pick up the W in the day. Um, I really am impressed with Wiley. You talk about a woman with a bright future. I've seen her wrestle twice now this year. Um, and sky's the limit for her. You'll be hearing more of Miss Matthews um for the next couple of years. She's got so many years ahead of her. She has a very promising future, and she's a very humble person. I know you and her bump heads, that's a given, but she's the real deal, and she has a bright future in this business. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more of her um down the road for sure. Big Mama, I'm glad to have finally interviewed you on this platform. This feels like it's been a decade in a making per se, given that we see each other in Kentucky, in Ohio, and Indiana. We exchange hellos. I probably got yelled at because maybe I was cheering for the other person. I got friends that calls you, yes, earthquake. I just want to say I'm not one of those people. So please don't get mad at me. Um, but thank you so much for um doing this interview. Thank you for your friendship throughout the decade plus, and you and Roger are true gems in professional wrestling. So you tell Roger I'll say hello,
I
and
absolutely
hopefully we will cross paths um on future shows. But like I said, NWF, I'm coming to some of these shows. Um, and I'll be there. Kentucky, Ohio. And look, I'm not doing Saturday radio shows. Starting next year, I'm moving to
Oh, nice.
weeknights. I'm moving to weeknights. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'm free. To go enjoy Saturdays. We'll take a little bit more. Um, yeah, I gave 15 years of Saturdays. I missed out on a lot of good things, but then I did went to a lot of good things because of the Saturday thing, which was pretty cool. But I'm done
Yes.
with Saturdays. I'm done. I'm done. So I'll I, NWF. If you got some Saturday shows, you might see me. Um, so yeah. Thank you so much, Big Mama, for your time, for your due diligence, and being on this podcast. Continued success for you going into year 17. And obviously, best of luck goes out to you tomorrow as you are looking to win that women's championship for the first time in your illustrious career. Thank you so much, Big Mama.
Thank you for having me.
All right, that's going to conclude the interview. Thank you all for tuning in. Happy holidays. Support independent wrestling. Support Big Mama. And if you don't, she's gonna let you know about it. Uh, from my experience, I know how it feels. So just don't get on her bad side. I mean, she is a mama, real life mama. She got kids, and she might give you a whooping if you are careful. Just saying. You thank you all for listening. Oh man.